Hi,
Hi,
Jackie.
Aaron. Fit like a
Hi.
night.
Not bad, not bad.
Good. Oh, I'm awful excited that we've got Nae Place Like Hame at the printers. Fit a
Indeed,
day.
aye. Great. It's nice that it's our third book at the printers now. So, yep, we'll hopefully looking to see it in the next week or two on the website for sale.
Magic. Well, you've worked hard to get it ready in afore Christmas. I'm very excited.
I wanted it out before Christmas, didn't we? Because
Yeah.
it's a story about a polar bear, which is sometimes associated with Christmas.
Well, that's where the story started, actually, Aaron,
Oh,
because
really?
I told it as an oral story, and I was looking for a Christmas story to tell, and I have this great big stuffed polar bear, and I thought, oh, I must do a story about this bear. So that was kind of how it started, um, as a Christmas tale.
Wow. And so the story, when you sent it to me to read it, I absolutely loved it the first time I read it, and I could just see all the illustrations quite clearly in my head. And it's been an absolute pleasure to illustrate. I have to say, it's been a really nice collaborative process. So, what do you think? Do you want to sort of talk a little bit about what the story's about?
Well, that would be great. Yeah, I mean, it is one of my favourite stories. I mean, have I liked polar bears ever since I was a wee quine? Fa doesn't like polar bears, eh? And just this idea of the polar bear gonna looking for somewhere else to bide because she's a bit fed up. She's just fair fed up. Oh, fight, nothing but fight, and she thinks there must be a better place to gang and bide. So there she is. Isn't she cute?
She's lovely. So, and it's the book is set sort of on the west coast of America, really, like loosely based. Anyway, that's where I kind of took some of the inspiration from for the illustrations. Anyway,
Cool. Yeah, yeah. I see her a while up there in Alaska and coming right down the west coast, as you say, going through the mountainous bits and down into the Toon and then into the desert, which is near the place you would expect to find. But oh, I the woods. Oh, Aaron, this is one of my favourite pages. She's just half a cute, isn't she?
she's certainly enjoying the forest there, and
Well, that's it. She thinks this is a place to bide. I've found where I'm going to bide, and Athens hunky dory, and then something happens. But that would be a spoiler, so I'm not going to tell
yeah,
on if it happens.
not too many spoilers. But
Not too many spoilers, no.
she arrives at a new location, and she's fair tricket with the place, and then something happens, and she decides to move on to a different location, doesn't she? So.
Yeah, she does. And then she comes to this bonny place. And I love the fact you've got them stars, because I have been lucky enough to be in the desert on the west coast of America, and that's what absolutely amazed me was the stars. I'd never seen stars like it. So there she is, fair enjoying herself until something happens.
Oh,
But we'll
something
not tell
happens.
them.
No, and then she gets scun up with every location, and in the end,
She
she
does.
takes a trek
Aye.
back to north.
Well, there's no place like him. For now, said and done.
Well,
But there you go. I think that gives a really fine little wee sneak preview of all the different locations she gives tell, and yeah. So I'm curious how you translated words into pictures. What's that process like for you?
when you sent me the story, it was it was written in paragraphs and just as you would expect. But the way I saw it in my head, I started breaking these paragraphs up a little bit, but changing the sort of emphasis of them almost. And I like the idea of her arriving at this new location and having a sort of vast landscape in front of her, and her just sort of enjoying this landscape. And then I think with children's picture books, there's always or children enjoy sort of things that are repeated over and over again. So I like this format to be repeated. And
I liked how the repetition in the story is reflected in how you've laid it out and repeated the style or the pictures. So I think that just emphasizes the repetition in the story, which works really well.
When you sort of have to interpret somebody else's words into images, you sort of become the director of your own film or something like that. You know, you've got to really fill the images as well with stuff that's maybe not necessarily written in the words. You know, you've got to make everything up visually around the words. You know, so I really enjoy that process of just sort of thinking through, well, what would she do when she come to this wood full of flowers? She would probably pick a flower and smell it, maybe, she comes to a beach, what would she do? She would maybe play with a wee crab or something, you know. So it's just about sort of making up the images to go to make up the stuff that's not written down, I suppose, really. Yeah.
And it extends the story, doesn't it? I think, it adds to her character and the richness or the hell environment that she's actually in at the time. So yeah, I love all these wee details that you put in.
Well, it's a very enjoyable process, and the sort of locations in the book were really nice places to visit myself. You know, as I was drawing them, it was like, oh, I like this place. I could stay here myself.
Well, they're bonny places to be, definitely. Yeah. So, are you going to give us a wee insight into how you actually put together, the images?
Yeah, I can. I suppose the first thing to say is that I do it on a computer. I do it on a computer that I'm currently speaking to you on just now, so I can quite easily screen share the program that I use. I do like to paint and draw on traditional media, like I do acrylic on canvas, and I do sort of watercolors and biro pen drawings and pencil drawings, but the doing it when illustrating a children's book, the computer is definitely a sort of time-saving device more than anything else, to be honest. There's the polar bear. She goes to I'm just gonna bring it up just now. She meets a character on her travels. So this is the character that she meets, that she sort of
hang on a minute.
She decides to head home after coming knee to knee with this character here. So this is the shark. So just going to give a little bit of a demonstration on how I come to draw it. So the first thing I do is probably the same thing as, and I should say as well, I just completely and utterly make this up as I go along. I've had no formal training on how to operate any of this machinery, or even how to put together a picture book or anything like that. I just make the images and send them off to the printers and put them to you first for approval. So when making the character of the shark, first thing I did was Google the word shark and search through some images to see till I find one that I thought might suit the page in particular. And I found this image that you can see on the screen just now. So the first thing that I would do is I would draw an outline. Now, obviously, I don't want to draw an outline that exactly resembles the picture, because that would be terrifying for the small children. So we want to slightly anthropomorphize our shark and give our shark a sort of, maybe not as threatening as a real shark, maybe let's put it that way. not so threatening for the little children, but threatening enough for the polar bear. So I'm gonna do this very rough just now. So basically, it's just an outline. I'm just copying the image roughly that I see below, and like I say, anthropomorphizing it, giving it a big sort of cartoon. You know, it's amazing what you can do with a set of eyebrows. and then some toddlers here.
There you go.
And so I have prepared one so it's not too boring that you watch me draw the whole thing. So I've got one that I prepared earlier. So here's our outline that we have. The next thing to do is to duplicate that outline, basically. So we want an outline that stays on the top and an outline underneath, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in block color the outline underneath. So I'm going to take a color off of the shark, and I'm just going to color the whole lot in, basically, with one touch. Look, that's why it's such a time-saving device.
Yeah.
And then you can just do that and color it and block it. And this one here, the shark has got like a sort of lighter underbelly. So I'm just gonna, you know, color in the lighter underbelly a little bit here.
Yeah.
And I'm not, like I say, so it doesn't get too boring. I have got one that I've earlier, so,
all right. So
so that's the. So then once it's colored in, I've got two sort of base colors there, and I just blend them into each other so that it's you know, just give it a little bit of blending, and then it's time to add a little bit of shading. So what I'll do then is it's basically putting in the sort of light and the dark bits. So I'm going to select a dark color. I'm going to select a synthetic paintbrush, and the shark is quite dark underneath. So I'm going to put some of the synthetic paint on and just mix it in a little bit. I don't know if you can see that there.
Yeah.
And so that's the process generally there. And you can see it creating a little bit of texture there. A bit of a shark skin's quite rough, isn't it? So trying to get it, you know, a little bit, looking at where the dark areas are, some dark in there. And again, I'm just doing this quite rough just now, so it's not, it's just to give a sort of demonstration, and then change it to a sort of lighter color and go around and add the lighter bits, maybe some white on the nose, and just mix it in a little bit like that. And I like to put some light bits on here just to give the smile a little bit of depth, and same as the gills. And you know, you can take your time with it a little bit and sort of get all the bits in, and you can use different colors just to give it lots of different color texture and everything. So as I said, as before, I've got a one I prepared earlier sort of thing. So that's it completed with the sort of light and dark shadows going in. You can see the image is really quite different at that point. Before it's that's without, it's quite the block colors, and then it does definitely gives it a bit of shape to add those that shading in. So normally what I would do at this point as well is the black outline still seems a little bit blunt almost. So what I would do is I would just take a smudging tool and just generally sort of smudge the black outline a little bit, just to make it a little less harsh. And like I say, you know, I don't know if these methods are tried and tested. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. I don't know. They're just what I've made up as I've gone along, you know. And then I suppose the next thing is to put our shark underwater. So we would create got a color down here. Create a color beneath. So I'm creating a layer just now beneath the shark, and I'm just going to color the whole thing blue. And because in the story the shark is quite close to the top of the water, what I've done is I've taken like a spray gun tool and basically tried to create a sort of, you know, that sort of water pattern. And I'm just doing it, like I say, I'm just doing it rough just now, but you get it smaller as it goes into the distance to give a little bit of depth there. And then because the shark is underwater as well, I want to create a layer of water in front of the shark as well. So put a whole layer of blue in front of the shark. So this is still got the outline in there. Right, so then what I would do is sort of change the opacity on this layer right down,
Ah,
You can see the shark coming through, and so I don't want to get rid of it altogether because then that's our shark is like so.
yeah.
It's about finding the right sort of balance that so that the shark appears to be underwater, but at the same time, doesn't stand out at you too much, So, so that's basically how I put the image together. A quick run through anyway, and obviously this is very quick, and you can take your time with things a lot more when you're just sitting doing it yourself. But yeah, basically that's it.
Cool. Well, thank you, Aaron. That was very fascinating. I was fair tickled to see the hell thing come alive, and I hope folk find that shark not too scary.
Well, I tried to give the shark a bit of a grin. I hope the grin isn't too sadistic. Tried to find a balance between sadistic and friendly, if there's such a thing.
I think there's a definite polar bear, tasty.
Or polar bear, new friend. Who knows?
Back your pick.
Again, what the polar bear thinks, anyway.
Nay, do to that. Well, let's hope that folk have enjoyed that and are going to rush out to the shops and buy a book, Aaron.
Well, this is it. It's available for pre-order, Jackie, on the website. Did you know that?
And that did, actually. That's a good point.
It is a very good book, though. I can say that because, the story is lovely. It's a lovely story, and I really enjoyed putting illustrations to it. So thanks for that, Jackie. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a really fine collaborative project. I've fair enjoyed the hell journey of getting it just about on the shelf. Yay!